Good evening, everybody. Please forgive me, I just had a slight issue coming on. Welcome you guys once again to UBAWA Radio. Just checking right now. Mr. James, are you on the line? Okay, our author's not here right now, but I want to welcome each and every one that's coming on, that's on right now to UBAWA Radio. My name is Stevenson. I am the host once again for this evening. I hope you guys are having a really wonderful Sunday as I have, and we look forward to showcasing another great book that's going to be coming on the line tonight, an author from Dayton, Ohio, that I just can't wait for him to come on because this book is truly is going to blow your mind. We learn something every day, life situations and things that we go through. People put them in books and blow our minds, but it's also a learning experience for the authors as well. I want to thank you guys again for being so faithful and committed to the show. Shout out to the creators of UBAWA Radio that helps us as urban books, authors and writers of America to really have a voice. And I'm just grateful to be able to be a part of this show. I want to thank all of those that are on tonight. May you guys be wowed. You receive great news information, and you also can learn on how to really get your books out there, learn how to be proactive in your editing, your writing, your book covers, every part of the process of getting your books released and put out there. You have great stories to tell, so it's a matter of the timing, and if you feel that the timing is now for your books to be released, well, you're in the right place to get some of the best information in the world. So we want to thank you guys again as we wait for the author to come on. Again, I apologize. I had a slight issue on this end, but we're on here, and I'm looking forward to Mr. Turner coming on this line in a few seconds. So while we're waiting, wait a minute, hold on. Mr. Turner, are you here?
Yes.
Welcome, sir. That's the man of the hour. That's what we've been waiting on. So I thank you again, Mr. Turner, for your patience and understanding as we're going to move forward. Once again, I want to thank you, Mr. Turner, and everybody to UBAWA Radio. Well, we know UBAWA stands for Urban Books, Authors and Writers of America, where we're dedicated to the promotion of literacy and the advancement of authors and writers from unrepresented groups. Again, my name is Stevenson. I am your host for today, and we have a very special guest by the name of Mr. James Turner. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome him to UBAWA Radio. Welcome him, welcome him. So, Mr. Turner, this book right here is I'm just saying like this. I know it's a cliche. It's going to be truly a head turner. It's going to be a page turner. That's what you should have called this, because based on just reading about this book alone, this was blowing my mind. But I want to take this time to say thank you, and I want to tell them a little bit about yourself, and you can just be able to just flow with the questions I give. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Turner was born and raised in the drug-infested Gem City of Dayton, Ohio, and he became a product of his environment when he was introduced to the dope game and the fast money. It did not take him long to get entrapped in the lifestyle and spoils that came with his riches, but he quickly learned that the game loved no one and found out how treacherous the game could be. Getting money comes with plenty of stories, good and bad, so ride with this author through the streets of the Gem City while he tells you what people will do for that paper. The book that he has out is called Hanking. This is a story about a drug-infested streets in Dayton, Ohio, and a tale of how the heroin epidemic mangled the city and produced some hustlers who were doing some big-time hanking and getting major money in the process. The character in this book is called, his name is Roscoe Evans, the boy's dope boy, when he was unexpectedly caught a 10-year bid and had to lay it all down. He was on top when crack cocaine was the name of the game, but while he was down, the game dramatically changed. When he came home, it was either roll with it or get rolled over. The choice was truly his. He has made a promise that he wanted to keep, but he was confused and always had been about his paper. So what is he supposed to do? Keep his promise or eat and get some of the money that was flowing through the streets of the Gem City? The streets and the game caused him to miss the love of his life, and they both killed with no remorse. But what will he do when his past unknowingly revisits him? Imagine Imagine if the other character had a love for her man, but she had to do what she thought was right. She left Dayton hoping to never return, but would find herself having to come back when something unexpected happens, and ends up causing her to have to do some explaining of her own. It says if you can't love or trust the one you want, then love the game and ask yourself, what will you do for that paper? Hanking, I guarantee you're going to have to get this after this. So, Mr. Turner, my goodness. So let's just move right into our questions here. So when did you first decide you wanted to become an author?
I really didn't, when I first started out, I really didn't want to become an author. I really wanted to be behind the scenes. I wanted to publish. I wanted to be a publisher. And how that came about is I did 10 years in prison. So while I was in prison, I went in 99, and that's back when urban street lit had first really hit the scene real heavy, and these urban street lit books were circulating. So I read pretty much all of them from 99 all the way up until 2010, and there was a lot of guys in there writing, And I was fortunate enough while I was in there to be employed by Triple Crown Publications, which is one of the first main urban lit publishing companies when urban lit first hit. So, like I said, I just wanted to become a publisher, be behind the scene, because working with Triple Crown, I was a reader, so I knew how to read a manuscript, read a story, and what readers was looking for. But I also found out while I was doing that 10-year bit that I kind of had a talent for writing, because during 10 years, you write a whole lot of love letters.
Oh, yeah.
So, I used to just writing letters, and I was ahead of some organizations in there and writing proposals to the prison administration and writing letters to different people out in the communities, trying to get them a sponsor and work with the programs within inside the prison. I became better at my writing, and I was being, people was complimenting me on it. So I never really, really set out to write a book. But when Hankin had came about, it was a story that had just kept popping up in my head, and I would jot little notes and stuff down about it here and there. And one day I just could forget it. I just sat down and started writing it.
This is powerful. I mean, you just set the whole stage on fire already. You know that, right? Because I'm passionate about my brothers that have been locked down and have experienced a situation. But even in the midst of that, looking at what the book is about, and you're saying you did a 10-year bid because you experienced that type of thing. I'll get to the other question later, but do you feel that this should have happened to you for you to be down like this in order for your gift to not only be saturated but to come forth and then really nurture and come to pass? Do you really think that if you weren't in that situation, not that I'm saying you should, do you think that if you would not have become who you are today?
No, I definitely wouldn't have became the person I am today. And I believe all trials and tribulations and storms we go through shape and build character. And that trial and storm I went through definitely built character.
Yes, I totally agree. See, I can vibe with you because I've been in a situation like that. Not like you. But when you're in that situation, the greatness in you was being pulled out. And because you were in that situation, look what you're doing now. And people can see if he can do it, I can do it. If he can come out of that, I can come out of that. But like you said, you didn't want to write, but it was on your heart. It was on your mind to say you need to get this done. And you got it done. So my question is, first of all, what is hanking?
Hanking?
What does that mean?
I had to put a global definition on it so people everywhere could understand it. And the definition of hanking is when you can supply the demand and consistently turn a profit. But the word hanking stems from a slang that we use here in Dayton, Ohio. Another word for heroin, another word for the drug heroin is hank. So when a person is selling heroin, which they call hank, and you selling a lot of it, it's a term we use and people say, man, you hanking. Because you're supplying the demand and you consistently turn a profit, which can apply to anything now. Now that I put a global definition on it, it can apply to anything. You could be babysitting doing hair and be hanking. because you supply and demand and consistently coming a profit.
It's a hustle.
Yes.
But it's being used in different ways, and it came from where you were saying selling heroin. This is hanking. This is what we're doing. Okay. Different cities have different dialects, different meanings of things, because they call it something else down here. I forgot what they call it. Heroin. You ever heard of the word boy and girl? They use that term in South Florida.
Right. And we use that here, and they pretty much use that everywhere, but down, like I said, they gave it another name. They still call it boy and girl, but they call it Hank. They start calling it Hank down here.
Oh, okay.
And right now, we have a huge global epidemic with heroin.
Yes, it's really bad now.
Right. So I think it was good. I think it was good timing to drop this book.
Oh yeah, it's right on time. See how things are supposed to happen at a certain time, and you dropped it. So we'll get into how great it's doing a little bit later. So is this so we pretty much got the idea of what your idea of your book came from. So is this your first book, second book, or third book? If so, are you still working on other books that will conclude this, or will this be a series?
Well, this is a series. It's a 3-part series. I'm working on part 2 now, but prior to writing Hankin', also while I was incarcerated, and another thing that kind of fine-tuned my writing skills was I'm a person, I'm Hankin'. I'm all about the money. Whatever gonna bring me a profit, I'm gonna try it out. So yeah. It was a publishing company, and they were sponsoring a writing contest, and the winner would win a cash prize, which I was definitely trying to get, and they would also publish your story in the book if you won the contest. It was a short story contest. So I entered it. Okay. I entered the contest chasing the money, trying to get that paper. And I won. So not only did I win the $75, they also published my short story in that book, which was an anthology, and it's called The Tainted Mirror. Okay,
so that from that point on, that's where the ball started rolling and you started producing Hankin'.
Nah, the ball really didn't even start rolling for Hankin', because like I say, I just did that one time just for the money. I still wanted to be behind the scenes. I never really set out to be an author. I just shot that because it was a short story. I was in prison, had nothing but time on my hands, so I thought I might as well sit down and take a day or two, a couple hours, write this little short story and try to win this money. But that's not even what started the ball rolling for Hankin'. At that point, I still wanted to be behind the scenes.
Something wasn't allowing you to be behind the scenes.
I see.
Look what's going on. That could be later for you, but right now I need your face to be in the forefront. Why? Because you experienced that. Right. They want to see the man behind the store instead of you saying, "Nah, I'm just assistant." No, I want your face out there. So I'm reading this. I read about the book. I see the characters. Is this book detailing your life, or these are based on the situations and scenarios you've seen around you?
This is based on situations and scenarios I've seen around me, situations and scenarios I've been through. Everything in there. It's a fictional book. It's a fictional story, but everything in there has happened in one way or another. I have seen it or experienced it in one way or another.
Okay, yeah, because you were out there, you were in that lifestyle, you were in that midst of it all, so you couldn't help but go ahead and, when you were doing your bid, to remember all those things and recollect them and create this amazing book, because everybody was doing what you were doing. But you're right. Saying you went and got down dirty, you delved into some serious situations in this book. So how long did it take for you to complete this book? I know you were down, you were still working through a process and trying to really, do your time. I know this helped you with your time, but how long did it take you to complete it? And what was the process like? Because, see, it's different for you because you were away, but you still said I had the connections, I had the means, and you were still reaching with people on the outside. But what was it like for you being locked up, and how long did it take?
This right here is about to confirm everything you said about I wasn't meant to be behind the scenes, because I was out of prison from doing 7 years before I wrote this book.
Wow.
I wrote that book 7 years after I had got out. Okay, so what were you doing in those 7 years, and at what point did it hit you to say,
I know you've already had it in motion when you were locked up, when you were away. But what set it in motion when you were free? Considering you said 7 years you were out.
Well, the 7 years I was out before I wrote the book, I was hanking. I got into a situation that would almost send me back to the prison where I just did 10 years and did not want to go back to. So I got in a situation that was about to send me back for even more time than I had just did due to hanking. So what I did while I was going through that trial, and that storm right there, dealing with that and trying to fight my way out of it, that's when I sat down and wrote hanking. I said, you know what? Because, like I said, the story had just kept popping up. I said, let me write this down, man, and see. I really just did it for fun. You know, I wouldn't have cared if I hadn't sold one book. It would just been the principle of me doing it. So I just sat down one day, like I said, while I was going through that storm. They were almost sending me back to prison. I just started writing hanking, and all together, writing the publishing, it probably took me 8 months.
Okay. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm more interested in hearing his story, and I hope you guys are too, because I'm sitting here like as if you're sitting in front of me talking to me right now. So my question to you is, like you said, I went through a trial. I could have went back to prison for more time, and something kept telling me. What you were feeling was, this is your way out. You don't need to do this anymore. I'm giving you something that you can tell and you can make money off, and I'm believing that it's something that's going to help other people to come up out of that situation. See, it's bigger than you, but you're the one that's been chosen to pick that. Do you even feel like that?
I most definitely feel like that.
Okay.
Because writing the book Hankin has done nothing but give me a platform to launch even bigger projects.
There we go.
Along with considering myself to be an author now, I'm also a motivational speaker, because me going through the trials, tribulations, and storms that I've been through, I like to reach back and let people know, if I can do it, you can do it, you know?
Yeah.
And when we behind them walls or behind them fences, man, all hope is lost. But when somebody who has been behind them walls and fences come back and reach back out to you and let you know, look, man, I've been there, I've been through that. You can do it. I did it. It's very inspiring for people.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I totally agree. So even when you came out, you did the 7 years, you were free 7 years, you were out there, you went back into hanking, but you kept feeling it nudging in your heart to say, get this book done. And here you are, like you said, I'm now a motivational speaker, and people are asking about my books. That's some of the rewards. But what other rewards do you have about writing your book and being an author? Because as you can see, what you went through, tests, trials, and tribulations, produced the purpose of what you're doing because you were chosen for it. So what are the other rewards behind you writing these books and being an author?
The greatest reward, man, comes in self-gratification as far as just doing it. You know, I've been through some things in life, and once I gave up the game, once I was put in a situation that almost sent me back to prison, and I had to give up the game because I didn't want to go back, I lost everything. Yeah. You know, this time last year, November the 19th last year, I was homeless. I didn't even own a cell phone. Wow. You know, now here it is a year later, you know, and due to my persistence and hard work, I got more than some people got who has never been to prison or who has never missed a beat, you know. So my biggest reward, man, I feel like it's self-gratification as far as doing something people told me that I couldn't do, and doing something people tell you can't do, coming from where I come from.
Okay. And I can relate to that too, brother. Trust me. I haven't always been like this, but I understand where you're coming from, because you know your past. You know what you were doing hanking. You know what led you to hanking. But to be able to write these books and have people say, hey, can you speak here? Can you speak there? People are buying your books. It makes you feel good because I'm doing something that's not going to send me to prison. Right. And it's making me happy. And it's also your purpose is coming to pass. See, it was all the time, and like you said, a year ago, I was homeless, no cell phone, no nothing, because you got into the will and you started following your purpose, See how things have opened up for you. I think it's just one of the blessing. For any callers that's on here, they're hearing you saying, I started flowing with what was being impressed upon my heart to go forth and make it happen, and that's what happened. That's what happened. When you start listening and hearing that voice, you said, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to do this. So in the midst of all that you've gone through, because, I've learned about being out there, that you become stronger, you become tougher, you were away and all that. With all this strength you gained, was there ever a time you felt like giving up and just calling it quits? When it comes to your writing?
To be perfectly honest, once I finally dedicated myself and said, I'm going to finish this book, I'm going to go ahead and write it and see what happens, it was never a time I felt like giving up. And that goes right back to confirm what you said about I wasn't supposed to be behind the scenes, because it was something that just pulled it out of me, and not one time did I feel like giving up. I just had a feeling, and I just knew this was it.
Okay, now, depending on, I have to go back to your situation, because everybody's situation is different that I have interviewed on this radio show. Based on your situation, you felt like, okay, I can do this, or did you say, based on what I've just walked out of, I have no choice but to keep going? Giving up was not an option.
I most definitely stand on giving up not being an option. And
okay.
And my main motivator was, I can do this. It really wasn't so much of I can't go back to what I was doing. I just felt it in me. Like I said, something pulled it out of me. I just knew I could do it.
Okay. You had that strong pull because it was a timing for it. See, I always tell, I spoke to some of my other callers, there's a timing for everything. When that time is here, you have to go forward or you're going to miss what's for you. And you went forward. And you're inspiring a lot of brothers around you and sisters that could be out there hanging too, to say, you know what, I'm done. This man he's done greater than me in this, and I need to go. So we all know there's more to being an author. We write it, we get it edited, we get it done, and all that. How are you managing to handle the business side of things when it comes to your books?
Business side, when I was Hankin, I was a business. I am a business, and when I was Hankin, I did it very well. So the business part is I just took my business sense and my business smarts from one thing and just switched to something totally different. Although it's two separate walks, but it's still the same walk, which is business. But I just basically took I think, as far as going through what I was going through and the places I've been, taught me the business skills and taught me how to deal with people, be social with people, and how to deal with people in a manner too. I was Hankin. I was selling drugs, so that means I can sell fish to a water. So to answer your question in a nutshell, the business part is just like second nature to me. That's what I did. I'm just selling a different product now.
Of course. I told you I can relate to you, right? Because I've been there. So I understand what you're talking about. But there are some people that may not understand that that's a business. You had to learn how to monitor your money, deal with all types of people, being able to balances and checks and so on and so forth. So you already came out with the management side because you had to do it when you were Hanky. So like you said, the product changed, but the game is still the same.
Right.
I just need to go ahead and apply what I've learned over here, and I put it to my books. So now that you've done that, how great is it for you as far as the business side? I know you're motivational speaking, you're selling your books. How have you capitalized with it because of how you're handling your business?
I'll capitalize on it because, like I say, the book was just a platform to launch other projects. Right now I have a few other projects going on as far as a clothing line. And the book really was a platform for the clothing line because one of the first shirts I've done was a Hankin T-shirt with the Hankin definition on it, which was to promote my book, but at the same time fulfilling my passion to do the clothing line. Okay. I have had people reach out to me. I have had guys reach out to me. They want me to write and direct music videos for them. I'm in the process right now writing some movie scripts.
Wow.
Pretty much anything that takes writing is one of the steps to getting it complete. I have been that's on my plate in one way or another because I have a lot of people reaching out to me now, And there's a lot of people who didn't even know I had this talent that needed somebody on their team that could do this. And now that I have put the book out and people will say I can do that, and I've been receiving a lot of offers.
Yes, like I said, it was your time. See, if you wouldn't have never done it, then it would have been like, oh, well, you're not doing it, so we're waiting on you. So that's a good thing, and I applaud you for that, definitely.
Right.
So looking at your cover, did you have an editor? I'm sorry, look, as far as your book, did you have an editor, or did you edit your books? And I can say this with a strong heart, that considering the type of person I hear and the strong power within yourself, I believe you had a lot to do with editing your book.
I did. As far as the cover, I had a vision. I had a story. I had a vision. And now that I've been doing this, as far as with the cover, even after the book came out with the cover, bookmarks, T-shirts, I've been working with a lot of graphic designers. And for this cover, I knew that I couldn't give my idea to a graphic designer and they'd come up with exactly what I wanted. So I had I knew a guy that was an artist, and I sat down with him and specifically told him how I wanted it and had him draw it out. And then I took that picture and sent it to a graphic designer, and they created the cover for me. So I had pretty much had a nice size dealing in creating the cover.
Okay. Now, what about your editing? Did you have an editor, or did you edit your own books?
Well, with the editor part, so once I had submitted, I went ahead and submitted. Once I got my manuscript done, I went ahead and submitted my manuscript to Kennerly Publishing. So once I got the book deal, we had a release date for the book. So when the book was going through the editing process with an outside editor, for some reason or other, the editor had dropped off. So since we was already locked in on this release date, which I think should have been pushed back, once we was already locked in on this release date and the editor dropped off, then maybe half of the book fell on me and the publisher to finish editing. So once again, in the editing, I had my hand on that. I'm not an editor. I know there's some mistakes in there. It's not a book that you're going to read that doesn't have a mistake in there. But of course, the story is so captivating and intriguing, a person will be able to look past the mistakes, and plus we get better in time and get better as we go. So people will be able, in my next book, people will be able to see my growth.
Exactly. Again, because she's a businessman, listen, this has to work. I got to have my hands in everything like Hankin. You got to have your hands in everything to make sure that the product gets out there and it's good, and people will want more from it, want more of that. But even in this, you're a Superman in writing. I can hear the passion in your voice because this is something that you're doing that is really paying off of you. But even in the midst of all that, have you ever encountered any writer's block? If you did, how did you get past it?
Encountered writer's block. And being perfectly honest, I don't really know if you would consider it writer's block, but I might come up with a story. I might come up with a storyline, and I'll get to writing it, and I don't know if it's writer's block or it's just not, or it's just, I'm going to give you an example. I was sitting down writing a short story that somebody wanted me to do for a book of short stories. I struggled with it. I kind of struggled with it. I didn't catch writer's block, but I kind of struggled with it. But just here recently, I sat down and started writing Hankin' Hard, which is part 2 to this book, and it's just flowing. My pen is flowing. It won't stop. So versus writer's block, I think it sometimes for me is just that's not the story for me.
Okay. That's what you consider writer's block to be for you?
Yeah, that's what I consider to be. That's not the story for me. Like I say, Hankin' and Hankin' Hard, which I'm working on now, the pen was flowing because that's my story. That's something I walked and lived through. As far as sitting down and writing a completely fake story, I can't do it because I don't know I'm not a fake person. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to only way I know how to captivate a person's mind and attention is through telling them my stories. And believe me, I got some stories that I've seen out there hanking.
Okay. But it's coming from you. Life experiences, what you've experienced, have become a reality to others to see this does go on, because we live in a world that's so closed off, but thanks to social media and, authors like yourself are telling what's going on today's times to show people that there's a way out. And you've written your books to show people there's a way out and to show them that you can get there, so you can teach them. Don't be afraid. Step out there and do this. You might not be a writer, but if you're interested in writing this is what you need to do. And I love the way you said writer's block to you is it's not meant for it to go that way. You said, I'm not a fake person, so I don't know how to write fantasy. I don't know how to write stories that are not real. I'm just going to write based on what I experience and what I see. And for any caller that's on here that feel like they need to go that way, understand that if you're feeling it in your soul passionately, go ahead and do it. This man is telling you guys, just go, just do it. If it's in you, be passionate about it. So since you're working on Hanky too, how often do you write now? Because you said my pen is flowing, and I understand it because my first book was the same way I struggled. But how often do you write now?
Because I really now, as far as the part 2 of Hankin is just like with the first part of Hankin. The story came to me, and I can't shake it. So basically, what I do, I'll build a story. I'll sit back and kind of like write and build a story in my head, and then I'll just write it out. I've probably been working on it. To tell you the truth, I've probably just been working on it a couple of days now. And that's what I was doing today. And calling in for this interview I took a break from writing, but I've probably just been working on it probably about a few days now.
Okay. Well, hey, from the way it sounds of everything, you just seem like you're just in the flow now. The pen has just been broken on the paper, and it's just bleeding words. It's coming out of you. So that's an awesome thing. So my next question to you is, if you had a book signing, tell us about your book signing. What was it like? What was the experience, and what happened even after you finished your book signing?
I just did a book signing yesterday. Matter of fact, I just did a book signing here in Troy, Ohio, at a Roundabout Books, and it was a great experience. There was a lot of people who showed up who had already purchased the book, and they just came back to the store to the book signing to meet the author, and the feedback I was getting and the sincere, I'd rather get a review from a person face to face versus on Amazon, because on Amazon a person can say whatever they want, but when you look into a person face to face, you can look them in their eye and tell if they're telling the truth.
Exactly.
And some of the people that I encountered yesterday, who was giving me their review and their take on the book, I could sincerely feel their passion, and they really felt the book. So it was really an eye-opening, motivating experience, because it motivated me to even to start working on this part too.
Okay, did you say your book signing was yesterday?
Yes, I had one yesterday.
Wow, perfect timing. Okay, wow, what a true experience. So even with all this is going on with your book signing, has anyone come to you and said they want you to speak, possibly? And also, how has your book, based on the book signing, were there kids there? Were there young adults that's probably doing the hanking that have heard about you? Did they speak to you in any way? Did you speak to them?
I spoke to a lot of people. There wasn't any children there. It wasn't even children there, but it was just basically an adult crowd. I have done a speaking engagement. I had a behavioral therapy program located in Dayton, Ohio. They reached out, and I went in there and I did a presentation because they had read my story, not my book, but they had read and not my bio, but someone who knew my story told the director about it, and they felt like I would be a great person to come in there to speak and to motivate their residents, and which I did. I went in there and told them, don't give up, keep going, and said I'm a walking testament. It's not over, keep going.
Okay, and you've been set for this purpose. See, we've been chosen for things, and you've been chosen to walk that path. And you sound so excited. You sound like my life has a meaning. You sound so passionate about it because it's like, finally, this has a purpose. I didn't go through that for nothing. I went through that to do what I'm doing today. Now you can only imagine what tomorrow holds for you, just because you went through that. And no, I know it wasn't pretty, But at the end of the day, there was a purpose behind it greater than you can imagine or see. So again, I applaud you for it, because not many people would have been able to walk through that 10 years and come out and still go back into it and trying to figure their way out. But something was pressing inside of you to say, keep going, I want you to do this.
Right.
So, and again, I applaud you for that. I really do. I really do, because I've been there. So, besides social media, because everybody's using it, it is free. Yes, we do get a lot of notoriety. What other methods are you using to get the word out about your books?
The one that's been here since the beginning of time, word of mouth. Word of mouth, flyers, it's word of mouth, flyers, is going around meeting people, talking to people. And when I meet people and I talk to people, my main topic of conversation don't even be about the book or that I'm a writer, you know. I genuinely want to get to know a person and see what they're going through. I might pick up something I can write about.
Okay.
But, my main thing right now, man, has really just been word of mouth.
So is it just yourself, or you have a crew, you have a team of people helping you, or is it just you?
It's crazy because right now it's just me. I know it's other people out there because it's a lot of people that has already took a liking to the book and they jumping on the movement. As far as right now, it's really just me. There's a couple other people, you know, I can really count on that have been getting out, spreading the word. And that's one of the things I'm dealing with now. And I have been reading on social media different posts from different authors versus being employed and then becoming a full-time author. And that's one of the things my publisher first told me. He's like, I'm telling you now, there's going to come a time you're going to have to choose between doing this full-time and working your job. Doing the work in a job also right now at the same time, it kind of prevents me from getting out there and really pushing it the way I need to be, and I'm missing a lot of events. But once again, I'm about to step out on faith, and I got a goal by the spring or early summer to be done with my job.
I know the feeling.
As far as the team, I got a team. I know I got a team out there because, like I say, a lot of people has been talking about the book, and if they telling me about it, and I'm hearing somebody say that they heard about it, you know, it's getting around. You know, you got to crawl before you walk, just like when you're out there hanking. You know, you don't just get in the game with a kilo. You got to start with an ounce, then 2 ounces, you know, then a quarter ounce, then a half a brick. It's the same way it's the same thing in any business. You got to crawl before you walk, you know. And I'm prepared to crawl before I walk, you know. I know it's a process, and I'm trusting the process. Yes,
you're trusting the baby steps. Like you said, I was out there. It took time for me to be this big hanking dealer, and it's going to take a little time for you to be this well-known worldwide author. But you understand the process because you've already experienced the process. And you're using what works best for you is word of mouth. Because, you know, this is the best product. James has it right there on 10th and Lakeland. I'm telling you to go get it. This is the best book. It's available now because you're using your mouth. And if you're using that and when social media collides with what you're saying, I can only imagine where you're really going to be for real. Because I understand the process. I understand you have to be patient and wait on it till you build your clientele, definitely.
So, I'm a master of the waiting game.
How do you do that?
Some people, I've done 10 years in prison. I couldn't do nothing but wait. That's another thing it taught me. It taught me patience. 10 years is a long time.
Yes, it is.
And nothing happens overnight. So I kind of know how to sit back and cut and be patient and wait for my turn. And I know my turn's coming. As long as I do what I'm supposed to do, my time gonna come. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it's gonna come.
It has to, because there's a time. It was a time for you to do it, and it'll be a time for it to be massive and major. Just have to wait on it. So, by you being a man of color, what inspires James the most? What inspires you the most?
As far as with writing, one of the things that inspires me the most is other African American writers. You know, like I said, I worked for Triple Crown Publications, which was was the biggest urban lit publishing company at the time. And I've seen the roster of different authors come through there and what they had been through, and I see where they are at, the ones who stuck with it, where they are at now. And they've built empires. You know.
Wow.
So one of the things that inspired me as an African American writer is trying to get to the level where I see my favorite African American authors at.
Okay, give me like some examples. Give me like maybe one or two examples of some writers that really have taken you to the point of I need to be there. And are you with Triple Crown Publications?
No, I'm not with Triple Crown Publications. Like I said, I was employed with them while I was incarcerated, and then during my incarceration, I was transferred to like 6 different prisons. So I lost contact with them, but I regained contact. And then once I was released, I had started back working with them, but it wasn't paying the bills. And so once I went back to Hankin, I lost all ties, and you know, I chose to take a different route.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's a good thing. You stuck with it. You stayed. Like you said, I had time on my hands, so you had no choice but to be focused on the books, the publications, and everything possible to be able to say, I got to master this. This is something else I need to master. And one thing I learned in that game is if you're going to do it 100%. And you made this
right.
100% dedication in the midst of it all. And people need that hustler's mentality. Not to say you need to be a hustler of Hanking or anything else, but this is your hustle. Your gifts are your hustle, and you're using you were created to do as a hustle. It's going to make you wealthy one day. It really will.
But they can be a hustler of Hanking, because I put a global definition on Hanking, and that's anything that supplies demand and turn you a consistent profit. You know, like I said, you can be doing hair, you could be babysitting. It could be a female who sells dinners out her back door her house. She's Hanking now. She's supplying demand and she's consistently turning a profit. You Hanking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I want everybody. I want people. I want to see my brothers and sisters Hanking.
Exactly. That's why we're on this radio station, so they can be inspired by that. So have you trademarked the name?
Have I trademarked it? I trademarked it. I definitely trademarked it. I got some other things too that I'm working on getting trademarked. Cause earlier you had said just do it. Like, you know, and one of my slogans is my slogan is not just do it. My slogan is just get it. Just get out there and get it. So I'm in the process of trademarking a few other slogans and trademarks. Okay,
that's what's up, man. I know you on point. I could tell. Trust me. So, in the midst of all this, because I'm truly enjoying this, if anybody's just getting on, we have Mr. James Turner, the author of Hanking, on here. Listen, if you guys are just getting on, it's a must that when they post this, you must go back and listen to this call. You must. Please do that. So, even in the midst of it all, who is your biggest influence?
My biggest influence, I gotta say right now, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real. Although I did not read many of their books, because they were Urban Street Lit books, but they weren't the same caliber of Urban Street Lit books that I was used to reading coming from Triple Crown. But Ashton and Jaquavis, I love the moves they are putting down with all the series they are dropping, the following they got. Now they're writing TV series. You know, they have a deal on the table to do TV series and stuff like that. So that's definitely the check I'm chasing.
You said Ashton Jaquavis?
Yes.
I have to check them out. I've never heard of him. I must check him out. Okay. Well, you already know that's the status and the level you want to be in. I hope and pray you get to meet him one day on that level. Really, I do. So, I don't even know why I have to ask this question, but I must ask this question. But because you're very confident in who you are, and you're not ashamed to tell of your past, but how it has made your present and your future better than what it was. Have you ever done something in the past you regret? And if so, how did you get through it?
I've done a lot of things in my past I regret, but would I change it? No, I wouldn't change it, because I wouldn't be the person who I am today. You know, and So I don't think I would change anything, because everything happens for a reason. Of course. And things happen the way it's supposed to happen. You know, it's like a chain of command. It's a law of order. So yeah, I mean, quite sure we all have done some things where we regret.
Okay.
You know, but the thing about me, it's just that I have to just keep moving on. I can't let it hinder me. You know, and when we do things we regret, like a person is quick to say they sorry for something they did. I'd rather show a person by my actions. You know,
okay.
So hopefully the actions I'm doing is making up for some of the things that I've done that I regret. You know, like
So,
I regret.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And let me give you an example. I regret what I've done. I regret the things I did to my community, but by my actions, hopefully, I can give literacy by telling a story, by opening eyes and minds up to what's going on.
Are you breaking up, Mr. Turner?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, y'all said my main goal, my main thing is from the things I regret from what I took from my community. So I'm going to repair that by my actions, and I'm promoting literacy.
Exactly. And you took the words right out of my mouth. You're going to pay back in a great way. You're going to pay back. You're going to repair, like you said, the community and teach them better. And I understand and I can respect that, because a lot of people will say, yes, I do have things I regret. But you said it happened. It was a part of the law and order. It was supposed to happen. But now, like I always say, your pain produces your purpose. And what you've been through, you now can go back and help people. Because I'm sure in this book, you're helping people to really understand that lifestyle you were living and people are living. But also, I want to tell you, in the midst of all that, this is the reason why I had to go through this. Because you were chosen. You were chosen. You know? So we've all had these, one way or another. And again, I can only imagine what your answer is going to be. But how did you get through tough times in life when life throws what it throws at you? How do you get through that?
Knowing that it get better. Just stay as focused and knowing that it get better. You know, after every storm, the sun shines. You know, I didn't always start out like that. It took me a while, but and I gained that sense of knowledge from doing my time in prison. You know, I knew the next day would be a better day. You know, the day might have been a bad day, but tomorrow will be a better day. And one of the things that just keep me focused is like no matter, and that's one of the things another thing that I try to beat into people's head and teach and share the message is it'll get better. If you just stay down and stay dead, you gotta get down and get up. If you just stay dedicated and know things will get better, and by me knowing that things will get better, that was what really kept me up and motivated me during down times. Like during my incarceration, I was in 7 years, and my mom passed away, and I wasn't allowed to go to her funeral due to the degree of my charge. So you can imagine how down I was about that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I know. I said it'll get better. You know, I couldn't allow it to affect me in a negative way, because when I allow it to affect me mentally in a negative way, that causes me to act out physically, which do things would have hurt me even more. So I just had to bear with it.
You made sure your mental state was healthy. Even like you said, mom passed away. I'm locked up with all these brothers in here of all races doing only God knows what around me, and I'm trying to make it through this. But the beautiful thing is you kept your mind healthy, you kept your faith, and you kept yourself busy. You were proactive while you were locked up, so I'm sure that helped you, even though that you had those moments of, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get out of here, I'm so sick of this place, but you knew that. Did you even know that all this would take place after your bid was done and all the books were done and everything was going? Can you possibly imagine even being on this show today?
I couldn't even imagine this a year ago. So of course, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't even imagine this a year ago. No.
Wow. It's a beautiful thing, because the life that we were created to do, we can't see it, because if we see everything that was designed for us to obtain and do, oh my gosh, we probably would be a nervous wreck. Like, please let that hurry up. Oh gosh, yes, I want this. I want to get out of this. I want that to happen. But we have to realize that it can't. We have to, it can't show you right now, but when I do show you, you're going to be so excited. You're going to be happy that you're finally doing something that I allowed you to go through to make this happen. And that's what's going on with you. So what is one goal, if you haven't accomplished it yet, because we're almost done with 2017, that you want to accomplish in 2017, and what is another goal that you want to accomplish in 2018, because it's right around the corner?
I really can't even think of a goal I want to accomplish here at the end of this 2017, because I pretty much accomplished it. But, you know, it's just some small things that I wouldn't mind accomplishing that I really can't really point out right now. As far as one of my goals for 2018 is to, of course, drop part 2 of Hankin. You know, become a better author. You know, sharpen my skills and my craft a little more, and basically just get out there and meet the people. You know, the readers want to know the author. You know, and that's the thing when people, and that's one of the things. I know once I got to go through it to experience. I know it's a reason why they don't do it. You know, the fame and notoriety hasn't gone in my head. But people want to meet the author, you know?
Sure.
So that's one of my main goals, like I say, to drop part 2 and to get out there and meet the people.
Okay. And how are you accomplishing that right now?
I'm accomplishing that by right now, you know, every chance, like I said, I'm also working. I'm getting out there every chance. Every chance I can got a free moment, I'm getting out there. I just started working on part 2, like I said, a few days ago. So every time I get a nice chunk of it in my head, I get it on paper. So I'm definitely moving towards those goals, and I know I'm going to surpass those goals. But those are just the little couple short-term goals I have right here at the moment.
Okay. Let me revisit a question and answer something you said earlier. And again, I can relate to you. Trust me, more than you know. You were saying that you're now working, and it's like you said something pretty much to the point of work is kind of in the way, and I'm trying to get these things accomplished and done, but I realize that I have to be on this job right now until this book takes off. Again, I can relate to you. How are you really getting around that to the point where you can say, you know what, I can put my 2 weeks in? Because there are a lot of people that may be on this call that may listen to this call later that could be coming out of some form of hustle or just legally working, and they're like, how do I get out of this because I hate my job? So you can give them some pointers on how to really take your book to the point where you can, when it becomes your main source of income.
Well, just like being a master of the waiting game, I'm also become a master of multitasking. So right now I'm really just multitasking, and I have some numbers. Right now, in order not to go back to Hankin, my job is what's supporting and paying for everything I'm doing for my book, all my promotion, traveling costs, materials and stuff like that. So, and also at the same time, it's paying my bills. But,
exactly.
You know, coming from where I'm coming from, I'm good with money. I know how to stack. I know how to put away for a rainy day. And I already got a number in my head, and what's my number might not be another person's number. So what I'm doing, you know, I got a figurative number in my head, a guesstimated number that I'm reaching for, and once I get there, and I know I can do it. That's when I finally plan to step back from my job. But right now, you know, it's my source of income. You know, it's paying, like I said, it's paying my bills, and it's also funding the things I'm doing with the book.
Yes. I get you. Trust me. I had to go there too. So that's why I humble myself and I say I'm thankful. By you being who you are, coming from where you come from, you're used to moving, shaking, and going. It's like, now I'm stable. Let me just do what I need to do in order for this to be great. So what is planned for you next? What do you have planned next? I know you told us about your goals you want to accomplish, but what do you have coming up next?
Oh, what I got solid coming up for sure next, I got part 2 of Hankin coming out, which is going to drop on the year anniversary of part 1, which dropped July this year. But like I said, I got so many deals and offers on the table, I really can't say what's coming next. But I know part 2 of Hankin is coming for sure in July 2018. But I'm really just playing it by ear and gonna go with the best deals and what's gonna be most beneficial to me. And like I said, I got a lot of irons in the fire right now, and there's a lot of offers on the table. So I'm just gonna take baby steps, one step at a time. And I can say for sure part 2 of Hankin.
All right, then. Well, there we go. Okay. Well, we're getting ready to wrap up, but I want to make sure, I want 2 things from you. I want you to give a shout out to the people that you feel in your heart you need to show your love to. And then I want you to tell the readers and others in the literary community on how they can reach you.
Oh, okay. Right now, I want to shout out Shantae Kennedy, the boss at Kennedy Publications. I want to shout out my wife, Tasha Marie, because she stood by my side, man, when everybody had given up on me. I want to shout out my family, you know, even those who turned their back on me and didn't believe in me. I want to shout them out because I did it. You can reach me on Facebook. My fan page is Hankin. You can reach me on Instagram at Mr. Just Get It, and you can reach me on Twitter at Just Get It.
Okay. Just repeat that again, just in case they didn't hear you. I know they'll go back, but repeat how they can contact you again.
Okay, you can contact me again on Facebook at Hankin. You can get me on Instagram at Mr. Just Get It. You can get me on Twitter at Just Get It, or you can email me at hankinthebook@gmail.com.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the best, and I have had many, many, many interviews, but this is one of the best interviews I've had because, one, I can relate to you on more levels than one, but just because this man came on with passion. He went through what he went through. He found out there was a purpose behind it. He started executing it, and he's now living in his purpose. Understand this. Everybody's life has been written different. Mr. Turner's life was already determined. Your life is different. But understand, if God is telling you to do something, if you're hearing that voice, go forth and do it. He realized, I can't go back. Some of you did not go through what he went through because your options are different. But when you're in a situation like he was in, he knew that if I go back, I'm really going back, and I'm not coming back.
Right.
That's why you turn your pain into purpose. Your books will bless you, sir. And I respect you on so many levels to know when I see you on Oprah and Steve Harvey and all that, I'm going to say I interviewed him first.
Thank you for speaking.
And may what?
Thank you for speaking that into my life. But I do got one more shout out, and this is not for this is not for any kudos. But I want to thank UBAWA because ever since that I've started working with them, you know, I won a magazine feature. I won this interview, and I appreciate the platform, and I look forward to doing more great things with UBAWA in the future.
All right now, yeah, UBAWA, y'all heard that, right? Because they also gave me the opportunity too, sir. So kudos to them for opening up doors for a person like yourself and every other author and host. They gave me opportunity. That's why I'm on here with you. And I told them I'm not going to let you down, and you're not going to let them down. And I have power in words because we speak it, and I do speak that even UBAWA Radio is going to go global very soon. It won't take long because they're doing something that somebody else wouldn't do, and it's a platform for us. So I thank you again, Mr. Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard it here first. You heard Mr. James Turner here first. Don't forget about where you came from because it started here first. I thank you, Mr. Turner. I appreciate you, man. God bless you. To all of the listeners, God bless you. You guys have a wonderful evening. And as I always say, same time, same place next week. You guys have a good evening and have a great night. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'll definitely be reaching out to you on your Facebook. I definitely want to speak to you. All right.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have a blessed one.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Good night.